As I was taking my morning glory right before my pre-training workout, I was sent some articles that were bashing me. Like this one right here by Henry Carson, asking if the Dennis Karo show is coming to an end. And I'm just glad I'm punching this punching bag because I'm pretending it's Henry Carson and also Dan Rockfeld, who's talking about this Manchester United clash. But the one that pissed me off the most was this one right here by Steve Winters, titled "New Season Set to Expose Karo's Fragile Fitness and Troubled Knee." Great writing by the world's biggest hater and the world's shittiest journalist. But I had to brush that off and focus on the task at hand, which was facing off against Manchester United, a top-of-the-table Premier League clash. Classic Barclays, Arsenal, Manchester United. Both these teams used to battle it out in the early 2000s, and here they are doing the same thing again as Dennis Karo's making a run here. And Dennis Karo on the ball, passing it to Saka, and Saka finding Bowie. Karo now on the ball. Karo still on the ball, having a shot, but Vicario with the save. And Dalot taking the ball, passing it to Mount, Mason Mount. Dalot now passing it to Saigankov, who finds Dalot, and Dalot passing it to Becker, who has a shot by Ederson with a save. Dalot finding Nuno. Nuno able to find Karo. Dennis Karo now dribbling with the ball, passing it to Roger Fernandez, and Roger Fernandez cutting in, passing it back to Karo. Dennis Karo taking it to goal, having a shot, but Vicario with the save. Saigankov finding Nuno. Once again, Roger now cutting back, unable to find Karo. But Watkins finds Karo this time. Karo taking it to goal, having a shot, and Vicario with another save. And Jadon Sancho cutting back, finding Mascardo, who gets the ball ripped off him by Karo. And now Karo assessing his options, passing it to Saka. Saka cutting back, passing it to Karo. Karo taking the ball to goal, having a shot, putting it into the back of the net. And Arsenal up 1-0, and Karo's gonna hit it with a and look at the emotions running through Karo's face as he has just put Arsenal up 1-0 against their main title rivals, Manchester United. And Arsenal fans going crazy as their main man has just put them up ahead in the 75th minute, very late into the match. And Roger Fernandez cutting back, able to find Karo. And Karo with a little bit of a turn, finding Fernandez. And Zaire Emery cutting back to Karo. Karo having a shot, and Vicario with another save. And Stones finding Gaia. Gaia and Stones working together. Some pressure by Watkins. Watkins still applying pressure. And Watkins finding Karo now. And Karo's going to head to goal. And Karo looking to score and gets brought down. And it will be a penalty in the 86th minute of the match. And you already know who's going to take this penalty. You can complain all you want, buddy. We caught you in 4K. But Karo lines up for the penalty. And you think he's going to blast it, but he's going to chip it. And absolutely make a fool of Vicario, as he has just hit him with the Panenka to make it 2-0 to the Arsenal. And Zaire Emery able to find Karo after the corner did not go Manchester United's way. And Karo finding Roger Fernandez, who takes a big touch. And Roger Fernandez has a shot, and he puts it into the back of the net to make it 3-0 to the Arsenal. A beautiful goal by Arsenal to cap the match off in tremendous fashion. And with that victory, Arsenal collect the 3 points, which puts them at 32 points, just 1 point behind league leaders Manchester United. And Arsenal remain the only undefeated team in the Premier League, and we have narrowed the gap down to just 1 point. As we focus on match week 15 in the Premier League, Arsenal have a trip to Manchester City. And as you saw on the table there, Man City sit in 6th place, but still you can never count them out. And Rodri finding Ta, and Chouameni finding Philip Walter Foden. And Philip Walter Foden once again on the ball, finding Erling Haaland, who just smashes it into the back of the net, immediately putting Man City up 1-0. And Haaland has just told us to stay humble. And Man City up 1-0 against the Arsenal. And Karo looking to make an immediate impact, an immediate comeback. And Saka on the ball, taking it down the touchline, finding Karo. And Karo now doing a bit of a shimmy. And now taking it down the touchline. Denis Karo on the ball, having a shot, but Raya with a save. And Tchouameni on the ball now. Still on the ball. Getting past Karo, making him look like a prick. Heung-min Son finding Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland having a shot and putting it into the back of the net. And Man City up 2-0 against the Arsenal. And Haaland just pointing to the camera, and I'll tell you what, his face really just pisses me off sometimes. And Erling Haaland has just put Man City up 2-0 against the Arsenal. And it looks like that victory against Man United was for nothing, unless we could turn this around. And Erling Haaland finding Philip Walter Foden, who has a shot, but Ederson making the save. Rabiot finding Karo, but Karo losing the ball immediately. And Kovacic finding Haaland, who finds Philip Walter Foden. And Philip Walter Foden turning, passing it to Haaland. Erling Haaland finding Philip Walter Foden. Philip Walter Foden having a shot, but just wide. And with just seconds to go, it looks like no comeback will happen in this match. A very shit day in Manchester. A shit day at the office. A shit day on the football pitch. Which results in Arsenal collecting a 2-0 loss against Man City. But luckily for us, Manchester United also dropped points, which means we are only 2 points behind them on the table. Their 34 points to our 32 points. And as we head into match week 6 of the Champions League, we face off against Olympique Marseille. And we head to France. And Watson on the ball now. Here's Denis Karo. Denis Karo looking to take the ball to goal. And here's Karo getting brought down for a penalty. And Karo immediately winning a penalty for Arsenal. And he can argue all he wants. The penalty stands. And here's Karo lining up for a penalty, having a shot, but missing the penalty. And Karo very disappointed to miss that penalty, which could have given Arsenal an early lead. And here's Karo on the ball once again, getting brought, not down, but off the ball. And Karo winning a free kick. And here I am now, lining up the free kick. And I know I can cross it, but I only have one thing in mind, and that's to shoot it. And I have a shot, and I score a tremendous free kick in the top left corner. And a brilliant goal by Denis Karo. And an even better celebration by the team, as Karo has just scored one tremendous free kick, and that is worthy of a replay. Getting the top left corner from the left side of the box. You don't see too many free kicks like that. And Karo has just added another beautiful free kick to his catalog, as Arsenal go up 1-0 against Marseille. And Mukhtar passing it to Mubagna. And Mukhtar losing the ball. And now Karo finding Saka. Saka passing it back to Karo. Denis Karo on the ball. Denis Karo taking a touch, popping the ball up with a brilliant bit of skill. Finding Saka, and Bukayo Saka cutting back, finding Karo. Karo having a shot, and oh my, just wide it goes. As the second half begins, Watkins passing it to Karo. Denis Karo on the ball. Finding Watkins, who finds Karo. And Karo finding Saka. Karo once again finding Saka. Bukayo Saka able to find Karo. Karo just waiting for Saka to make a run. Back heel pass to Saka. And Bukayo Saka now, the star boy, taking the ball, passing it to Watkins, who smashes it into the back of the net. And Arsenal pick up a 2-0 lead as the second half begins, courtesy of Ollie Watkins. A tremendous goal by Arsenal as a team. A tremendous goal by Watkins as an individual. And Arsenal now up 2-0 with a comfortable lead. And we just have to defend this lead, and we will gain the very important 3 points. and Luis Enrique. Here's Mukhtar finding Dreyer. Mukhtar on the ball once again. Dreyer and Mukhtar working together. Mukhtar on the ball once again, finding Watson. Watson taking the ball, having a few touches, and now finds Mubagna, who has a shot and puts it into the back of the net and brings Marseille back into this match just before the 60th minute. And Arsenal now in trouble. As you know, a 2-0 lead in football is one of the most dangerous leads you can have. And Mubagna unable to get the ball past Saliba. And this match has come to an end, and Arsenal pick up a very important 2-1 victory. And with that victory, we collect another 3 points in our Champions League campaign. And with that 3 points collected, we head up to 7th place in the Champions League table after 6 matches played with a total of 12 points. And it just so happens that the very next match in the Champions League will be none other than Athletic Bilbao, Karo's former team. But as we shift focus back to the Premier League, in match week 16 we face off against Newcastle United. And Newcastle, of course, the team Arsenal beat in the Europa League final of last season. And here's Karo passing the ball to Meyer. And now Karo on the ball, finding Watkins, who finds Saka. Denis Karo unable to get the ball. And now Joe Willock unable to get the ball past Rabiot, who finds Watkins, and then Karo on the ball now. Just finding Arnau. And here's Karo with a Ronaldo chop, a left-footed shot off the post and into the back of the net it goes. What a goal by Denis Karo. A Ronaldo chop for that ass. And a Messi-esque shot off the post and in. What more can you ask for? And Braithwaite finding Longstaff. Here's Karo on the ball. Passing the ball to Roger Fernandez. Roger Fernandez on the ball. Taking it down the touchline barely. Finding Karo now. And Karo assessing his options. Taking the ball towards goal. Sending Saka through. Saka with a shot and into the top left corner it goes. Arsenal up 2-0 against Newcastle United. And the team is running over to Arteta to give him a big hug and a big kiss. And Arsenal up 2-0 against Newcastle. Longstaff and Willock working together. And Meyer finding Gordon. Willock on the ball. Joelinton getting brought off the ball by Karo with a tremendous tackle. And now Karo finding Watkins. Watkins back to Karo. And here's Karo on the ball, taking the ball past the defense, having a shot but unable to score. Nuno finding Karo, who gets past Joelinton with ease. And now Karo finding Watkins. And Watkins able to find Karo. Karo lifting the ball up, getting past the defense, getting brought down for a penalty. Another penalty for Karo. The ref pointing to the spot. Karo absolutely making a fool of the defense once again. Getting brought down for a pen. Should I chip it? Should I smash it? Taking my time with this one. And Karo's gonna try to chip it again like an absolute fool. And that's what I get for being a prick. And I missed the penalty once again. And pretty soon Mikel is gonna take me off penalty duty. And Ederson collecting the ball, and Arsenal collecting a 2-0 victory. And the all-important 3 points, which puts us at the top of the Premier League table after Manchester United suffer a defeat. Arsenal at the top of the Premier League table with 35 points and a record of 10 wins, 5 draws, and 1 loss. And as we focus on match week 17 of the Premier League, we face off against none other than Tottenham Hotspur. And Watkins and Karo getting us kicked off here. And Solomon on the ball, passing it to Jota, who finds Matters. And Jota on the ball now, finding Diaby, who has a shot, and Ederson with a great save. And Saka unable to find Karo, but this time successful with his pass. And Denis Karo taking the ball down the right touchline. And Karo bombing from the flanks. Cutting in. And Karo finding Zaire Emery, who finds Fernandez. Fernandez passing it back to Rabiot. Zaire Emery finding Karo. Rabiot collecting the ball. Passing it to Karo, who has a shot, but Restes with the save. Diaby taking the ball down the right flank. Crossing it in. A huge cross. And Solomon collecting the ball. Passing it to Madison. Madison having a shot, and Ederson with the save. And Topspur with a corner here. Diaby passing it to Matters. Matters crossing it in. Van de Ven, the former Totspur player, unable to clear it out. And Sarr with a shot. Arsenal lucky to not concede. And Watkins finding Nuno. Nuno able to send Karo through the left flank, and Karo on the ball with a big touch, and another big touch, and a third big touch, and Denis Karo now heading towards goal. Karo having a shot. Restes with another great save. Diaby taking the ball, crossing it in. Karo with a brilliant header to get the ball out of the box. And now Arsenal on the counter-attack. And here's Bukayo Saka, able to find Karo, who's making a run. And now Saka making a run of his own, but stopping. Karo finding Watkins. Watkins heading towards goal, sending it through to Zaire Emery, who has a shot and puts it into the back of the net. And Arsenal take the 1-0 lead away at Tottenham Hotspur. A very important goal for Arsenal, which puts them 1-0 up against Spurs. And Arsenal now winning in the North London derby, courtesy of Zaire Emery. And Sarr crossing it over to Diaby, and Diaby settling the ball, passing it to Coyote. Madison passing the ball to Diogo Jota, who sends it through to Solomon, and Solomon with a touch, cutting in. Solomon heading towards goal. Solomon having a shot by Ederson, stretching and saving, or should I say spreading and saving. And here's Arnau. Bae Jun-ho. Bae Jun-ho on the ball. Bae Jun-ho crossing it in. And Diogo Jota with a header, but not strong enough to get past Ederson. Van de Ven easily taking care of that pathetic attempt of a pass from Bentancur as Arsenal collect a 1-0 victory away against Spurs. A very important victory in the North London derby, which gives Arsenal the very important 3 points, which keeps us at the top of the table with 38 points. And now we have a 1-match cushion. As we head into match week 18 of the Premier League, Arsenal host Leicester City. And Tresoldi getting us kicked off here as he passed to Taraz. And Fatawu on the ball now. Zaluski to Alves. Winks finding Tresoldi, and Tresoldi with a shot, but Ederson with a great save. And Leicester get a corner. DiMarco finding Zaluski. Zaluski lobbing it over, but Ederson's there to collect. And Ederson with a throw to Karo, and Karo settling the ball. Denis Karo on the ball now, finding Saka. Bukayo Saka finding Denis Karo, who's making a run. But DiMarco's there before him, but Karo muscles DiMarco off the ball. And now Denis Karo having a fake shot, passing it to Watkins, who's unable to have a real shot. And Saka able to get the deflection. And Karo now finding Saka. Bukayo Saka passing to Karo. Saka and Karo trying to work together. And here's Denis Karo taking a touch towards goal, having a shot, and making Andrew stretch for it. And Zaire Emery is unable to put the ball in the back of the net off the rebound. And with just 1 minute left in this match, Karo passing to Saliba off the free kick. Karo assessing his options, just 1 minute of added time. And Karo taking the ball past the defense, having a shot, and putting Arsenal up 1-0 in the dire moments of the match. With just seconds left, Denis Karo has just won the match for Arsenal Football Club, and you see Mikel Arteta running over with the rest of the squad to hug the main man, Karo. And with that victory, Arsenal remain at the top of the Premier League table with a total of 41 points and a record of 12 wins, 5 draws, and 1 loss. But the road is not easy as we have Manchester United hot on our trail with a total of 38 points. One slip up and they're back in it. And taking a look at our Champions League performance, we remain in 7th place in the league phase of the Champions League with a total of 12 points. 3 wins, 3 draws. We're not doing the best, but we're not doing the worst. And as we take a look at what we can expect in the next episode, we can expect a homecoming reunion with Denis Karo and his old team. This has been your boy Dennis from Kleinwall Gaming. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And have a great rest of your day.